What's up YouTube? It's Jamie with Restoration Ridge, and before I get started, I just want to say, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is how I grow, so when you show your love, it's really appreciated, or else this is all for nothing, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I'm only at like 13 right now, just starting out. I'm like a YouTube baby, so let's get me monetized. Anyways, today, what we're doing is we're making over this metal pantry. This has been in my family for generations. It was all the way from Germany. I think it's seen a war. It belonged to my great-great-grandma Diddy. And even though I never met my great-great-grandma, it belonged to my great-grandmother, who I grew up with playing with this in her kitchen. And my grandmother, my grandma Donna, she would set me up with a little stool, and the canned goods were in here, and I would play grocery store, and she would drive through window style, like drive past the closet that this was in, drive through window style and ask for groceries, and I'd give her the groceries. I mean, this is just a really big childhood memory. It's been passed down to generations. I ended up getting it when it went from my great-great-grandma to my great-grandma Peggy, and then my great-grandma Peggy passed away, went to my grandma Donna, and then once my grandfather, he passed away here in New York, she moved back to Colorado, and this didn't go with her in the move. I ended up grabbing it. I've had it green, I've had it black, and now I've had it white. I've had it in my kitchen for canned goods. I've had it storing stuff in my bathroom, like towels, in this white color. And now I'm in the new house, and I don't have a purpose for it. I might let my mom use it. She's been begging for it to use it because she has a little space for it right now. But I'm gonna give it a facelift, and you can see there's some rust here. The rust is showing through. I have a little trick here. One of my go-to products is 123 Zinsser Primer, and I have it in the gray. If you go to Home Depot, they already have it tinted in gray. It says tintable on the white cans, but they give you a hard time about tinting it at the stores. So if you just go to Home Depot, usually I'm a Lowe's girl, but if you go to Home Depot, they already have it in the gray. I don't know why Lowe's isn't doing that yet, but they should. Let me know what you think. Anyways, I'm going to cover this up with a primer, and this is going to block any stain or rust that comes through any discoloration. This is going to help preserve it so that future rust doesn't come through, or doesn't come through for a long time. Like I said, this was old. I think it's seen a war. It's all the way from Germany. We're gonna see what to do. I think I'm gonna give it a metal finish instead of just a painted finish. I want it to look metal-like, some metallic-y. You know how I feel about metallics. So I'm gonna paint this on. This is best when you roll it on. This is the first step I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna figure out what colors I'm gonna make this. So it's gonna have that fleh that I always talk about. And first things first though, is I'm gonna use my Surf Prep sander with a 120 grit sandpaper. And yes, you can lightly sand metal like this. I'm gonna sand it down. This is gonna help the primer stick so much better to it. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so the first coat of primer is on. I'm not doing a second coat. This is good enough. This is going to do the job. Plus I am doing a lot of layers and texture for this piece, so there's going to be a lot of layers of paint on this. So I'm not going to worry about the coverage of a second layer of priming. I've decided the color palette that I'm going with, and the main paint that I'm doing, these are called Waverly paints, and they're actually at Walmart. I first learned about these paints through Kasha Furniture YouTube channel, and she uses these. These are kind of like her go-tos, and they're cheap. They're from Walmart. They are just a matte finish, no prep chalk paint. They're very thick. You do have to water them down. So I have them in Waverly Plaster. I have it in Fawn, Mineral, ink, Blossom and Truffle, and these are gonna be the colors that I use for this. My inspiration is coming from a, like an old worldy finish, like always, what's new. But down here, I'm gonna do dark brown. I'm gonna do kind of like an ombre, not really blended ombre, but a very fine line right here. This is gonna be like a white, this is gonna be a brown, but it's gonna be a little bit more complex than that, so stay tuned.